Hey, I have a whole stack of papers here from the Gentle and Classical that I've printed off for our coming school year, and I'm going to work on prepping them. So why don't you join me and my little helper here as we cut, organize, laminate, all that good stuff. This big stack is a mix of both preschool and primer. We did both levels. I printed them off in color. It was really expensive and a lot of paper. So first I'm going to organize these by topic, put storyboards all in a pile, and math memory statements in a pile. Oh, and hygiene statements in another one. Okay, so thankfully at the bottom there are the categories, manners, and hygiene for this one. Math on here, and also the unit number. That makes it really helpful for organization. And when I'm cutting, I try to be careful not to cut that part out. The next step was cutting the papers, and because there are a lot of figures for the storyboards, there was a lot of detailed cutting, but also some cutting of the bigger memory statement papers. So this kind of bugs me. These papers are not the same size. It's because of the printing paper. So what I do is I line up the two edges that I just cut, and or the middle fold of the paper, and then I see how much extra there is there. You could just cut along that top part, but what I like to do to make sure the laminating paper has enough space to actually take a good seal, make a good seal around each piece, is to look for the unit number on the bottom paper. So you can see it through the top paper, and then I just cut below that, and then they're a little bit smaller than the laminating paper. And then I will just keep the units in order so that if I don't decide to cut out everything from the laminating paper today, I still have everything in order and organized for the future. How cute is this? We love Peter Rabbit here. After a lot more cutting and many frequent interruptions from my children, I finally got to the next step in the process. Research. So we have a lot of books, but we don't have all of them. So I go through these. These are the cards that go on our memory wall, and I find the ones that we don't have. I can look these up at the library, but if the library doesn't have them, what I do before I purchase them is I go to YouTube and I look up a read aloud version of the book so that I can see where I'm investing my money. I've had too many times where I bought a book because it was part of a program, and then I was like, yeah, I could have just watched the YouTube read aloud. That would have sufficed. We're never going to read this book again. And then I end up giving it away. So that's something that I make sure to do now each time I have a new program with new books. And then if I do decide to buy the book myself, I'm going to write it down. Because the thing with this type of program is if I am not paying attention, I can really spend a lot of money on the books, because there are composer studies, there are art studies. I can get carried away. There's so many different resources I could add to study each thing. Final step for this time period at least was laminating. I spent hours upon hours, day after day, laminating, and I'm not exaggerating. There is so much paper in this program. If you choose to print all of it, you will be investing a lot of your time even after printing. There is the option of buying this program already printed, but we live overseas, and so that wasn't an option for us. But it is something to consider if you are looking at trying to save money and print it on your own. You might actually find that it's more worthwhile to buy it printed already. I did have a good bit of help and beautiful interruptions as I was doing this, so if you are able to dedicate a solid work day to this program exclusively, you might get it done faster than I did, but it did take me over a week of doing this in my spare time. The most time-consuming part was laminating the storyboard figures because they would be played with heavily. I did decide to laminate them, and manipulating all those little pieces and fitting them onto the sheets was quite a bit of work.
In my next video, I will show you how I organized these two programs. So if you haven't yet done so, subscribe and ring the bell notification, and I will see you soon.